On this episode of Greeny Sports Cards Live, we will uh, we're going to do a lot tonight. We'll bring you an expanded hobby news segment with hopefully with resident insider Joe Wismierski and take you around the nation showcasing major collectible events that will feature well over 2,000 combined tables throughout 5 different cities across the nation. Coming up right after this.
You'll make this rather snappy, won't you? I have some very heavy thinking to do before 10 o'clock.
Welcome into Greeny Sports Cards Live, the world's first multi-stream broadcast for the hobby industry. We are going on well over 2 years now, every Tuesday night, both Greeny and I bringing you all the news that fits in the hobby industry, the latest card shows around the country, special guests, athletes, influencers, coaches, entertainers, and most importantly, you. All of you that continue to join us week over week. And tonight, you are the special guest. There is a cast of thousands out there that we encourage you to participate no matter what stream you may be watching. If you're tuning in on the X, the old Twitter, on Facebook, on Twitch, you may be catching the show on LinkedIn. You may be catching the show on YouTube, posted after the fact. You may be catching it on Instagram. No matter where you are watching, we encourage you to participate. You can drop a comment below in your section, and we will incorporate that into the show. If you have any questions for Greeny and I, or any of our guests, or if you just want to throw a topic out there, we'll entertain that as well. We have lots to get to in the hobby world. We will bring you the quick hits. We expect our resident hobby insider, Joe Wismierski, to join us a little bit later. And lots and lots of card shows to get to, including the Mountain State Collectors Convention presented by Greeny Sports Cards in partnership with the Charleston Convention and Visitors Bureau. That is coming up this weekend, the 2nd edition, and it's bigger and better than ever, over 30% bigger than last year. So exciting things on the horizon this weekend in Charleston, West Virginia, and around the country. Greeny will take you to multiple points, including Dallas, huge show in Dallas, in Pittsburgh this weekend at the Monroeville Convention Center. We head out to Baltimore. We will also check in to Illinois. There is well over 2,000 tables at the major shows this weekend, so plenty to check in if you are interested in buying, selling, trading this weekend throughout the hobby. And then, of course, plenty of shows around the country in every neck of the woods as the hobby continues to grow. So lots of news to get to, and we'll give that to you right now. The quick hits in the hobby are as such for the week of May 11th. Big news out of the card industry. The NFLPA, the Players Association in the NFL, has sued Leaf over unsolicited cards. Cardlines reports that the NFLPA filed a lawsuit against Leaf, accusing the company of producing cards of 13 NFL stars without a group license, putting unlicensed football products under major legal scrutiny. May grading volume breaks records. Cardlines is also reporting in May that the grading numbers are already pacing ahead of April's record-breaking totals, signaling sustained slab demand across TCG and sports. May grade partners with Steelers to sell stadium seats. The Pittsburgh Steelers are replacing long-used stadium seating in Acrisure Stadium, and May Gray is handling the official sale, turning decades of fan-worn seats into authenticated memorabilia. And if you're a Cleveland fan like Greeny and I, maybe you can do some other stuff to those Pittsburgh seats. But nonetheless, you'll have a chance to purchase a piece of history. Collect U launches Smurf Turf memorabilia with Boise State. Collect U has partnered with Boise State to sell pieces of the school's iconic blue, quote, Smurf turf, expanding the stadium to collector pipeline with one of college football's most recognizable surfaces. And we have a friend of the show that I'm sure is interested in that component out there at Boise State. Steve Aoki's high-end card collection goes public. Sports Illustrated Collectibles on SI has published a deep dive into Steve Aoki's personal card vault, showcasing his mix of high-end sports cards, Pokemon grails, and rare cultural pieces, highlighting the crossover between celebrity collectors and the modern hobby. And in other big news, PSA reveals over 200 million in fake cards have been prevented. PSA's new fraud prevention report shows the company has intercepted over 200 million in counterfeit cards, with Pokemon, Michael Jordan, Mickey Mantle, and Tom Brady, and of course the Honus Wagner Grail card among the most targeted. A major look at the scale of counterfeits in the hobby. Head over to Collectibles on SI to check out that story, and we'll get into that topic certainly throughout this show this evening. So more hobby news coming up with our resident hobby insider, Joe Wismierski of Phoenix Sports Cards. And with that, we will go ahead and welcome in the man himself, Steve Greenberg, aka Greeny, and say good evening to the namesake of the show itself.
Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Welcome on into another edition of Greeny Sports Cards, which, man, 2 years plus, 100 and something episodes. This has been a lot of fun.
It has. Come to think of it, Greeny, we've got a running list here. We're going to show. We've certainly done this before. Thanked all the guests that have appeared, but if you're just new to the show, you can see the type of guests that we welcome in every week. And it's been a real treat to spend every Tuesday with you, my friend, and talk about the hobby and showcase in a long format the people that make this hobby go. It's the people who own the card shops that do this every day of the week, that open up their doors to the hobby. It's the producers around the country that pour their blood, sweat, and tears into creating these atmospheres of commerce. And it's the customers themselves. Without demand, there is no supply. So very cool to do this with you every Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean, it's been cool. I mean, looking back at some of the names that we have on there, I mean, we've spoken to a lot of card shop owners, a lot of producers of card shows, a lot of just collectors in general, and getting information and thoughts of what's going on in their worlds, or what they see from customers that come in their shops or people at their shows. I mean, we spoke to Marcus Dupree. I mean, we've spoken to high-end athletes that, coaches, players that collect cards too, because it is a really popular industry right now.
It really is, Greeny. And this is part of the discussion I wanted to get into tonight as well, maybe a little bit early, but there are some economic concerns. I mean, the reality is gas prices are way up, cost of goods are way up, inflation is up. Everybody out there is feeling some sort of pain on some level. At some point, where does this impact the hobby? This is not a need, it's a want. People are buying paper and spending money to get autographs and go to shows. Are we potentially heading towards an area of concern, or does passion trump reason?
Well, right. I mean, there's both. The high-end cards, those people that are fortunate enough to be able to purchase the high-end cards, they're not going to see the drop off, right? The gas prices, don't affect them as much. The people that, collect for the love of just collecting the, dollar, $10, $20 stuff. Yeah, that's going to definitely affect them, to put $60 of gas in their tank to go to a show. I don't know. But the high end stuff I don't see is going to drop anytime soon. There are too many people that have a lot of eggs in the basket, I guess, if you want to call that, use that analogy. But to let their investments or their alternative assets or whatever we're calling these now to lose any value. So I think that those are still going to be fine for the time being.
And it does feel we're only at the beginning of that cusp of the mainstream acknowledgement and interest in the hobby space, and to some maybe a detriment when you have a bit of corporate influence coming in. You've got high-end investors, but to your point, we've really only scratched the surface of really big money coming into the space. And so we've talked about this previously too, that regardless of the high end, there will always be an interest, seemingly, in the dollar cards, in the 25-cent cards. If you're passionate about sports and you collect certain players, it seems like those will always be available and of interest.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's crazy where the year has gone. I looked, it's May 12th, and the things that are on the rise, nothing has really dropped as much. And I was really just doing some math earlier today. I mean, we're 11 Mondays away from the National, which is crazy to think about. And that's really, the culmination of the sports card hobby, where everybody goes to. This year will be again in Rosemont, the National Sports Collectors Convention. And, I don't hear anybody talking about anything dropping off anytime soon before that. And it never really does right after either, because everybody's so excited from the National. So, I don't know that there's anything in the quick future that's going to happen. I mean, you can never tell, a year from now, but I don't see any drop off right now.
And I believe a week or two before the National, you also have Fanatics Fest that is ramping up in New York. And as we saw last year, if there was any concern of attrition in the hobby or those events eating each other, we saw firsthand. You're talking about two entirely different markets, New York and Chicago, Rosemont, where the National will take place. Each of those events had over 100,000 people, and it's not the same people. It's a different audience. Fanatics continues to drive the conversation. However you may feel about them, again, on the corporate side, we saw what they did in Pittsburgh at the draft, with Topps investing significantly on the field in the big tent. And as you've indicated, Michael Rubin certainly will not let the industry fade. So I would agree, heading towards the National this summer, it still is an upward arc, an upward trend. And what's interesting too, and we see it more and more, a lot of the shows that take place leading up to the National drive the marketplace as well for vendors and exhibitors that are actually buying inventory heading towards the National. So you've got a bit of that going on as well.
You do. That happens. It starts right about now, a couple months before the National. We have our show this weekend, the Mountain State Collectors Convention, but I think a lot of people look to go to some of these regional shows to purchase inventory for the National, so, you'll have your Dallases, and then Card Show Live will go over some this weekend, but, Nashville comes in June, Shipshewana is coming in a week. So a lot of these regional shows in the West Coast Card Show, all of them, I think we'll see an uptick of buyers from national vendors that are looking to fill their inventory because of all the people that come to the National.
Greeny, let's talk a little bit about some of the headlines this week. The NFL Players Association has sued Leaf over their unlicensed cards. Greeny Sports Cards has a division creating custom cards. Certainly, you've got Panini and Leaf and a lot of other companies out there that are relying on producing cards without licenses. What kind of reverberations will this potentially have?
Obviously, the easy answer remains to be seen, right? I don't really know, but I mean, I hear some things. Panini aren't going to be able to produce some of their signature cards. I know they can't do them with logos, but they're talking about not being able to use the NFLPA, right? Not even to be able to use those players, NIL, which we know so well. Their name, image, and likeness, no matter what, if they have logos or not. So, yeah, I mean that easy to say remains to be seen. What's going to happen with that if they're not able to do that. That's not very good for Panini, I guess, or Leaf, either or, right? Like,
yeah. Or perhaps collectors in general, because I'm certainly not an attorney, but we can read a bit of the tea leaves. If this has any of the trajectory of the NIL in the collegiate space, if you take the roots back to the Ed O'Bannon case, where he first saw his image in a video game, as legend has it, he happened to be over at a friend's house who was playing NCAA on the gaming system, and he saw that his image and his number was being used, and he didn't see a penny of it. So that was the catalyst for the initial lawsuit on name, image, and likeness. And the reality is, in the NFL, it would tend to trend that way. If you have, even if you're creating a card that doesn't have a name on it, or you can say the city name, but you can't necessarily say the team name, but you all know who that player is. This could really have impact on the types of cards that can be produced in the imagery, and perhaps the rich get richer if Fanatics really controls that market with all the licenses.
And you really hit the nail on the head. The ones that lose are the collectors, right? Because they're the ones that buy these cards or buy the packs, and that's the reason that these companies are able to produce so many of them, because people are buying them. So yeah, that's the real loser is the collector.
Sure. Not to get too far ahead of ourselves, there may come a day where the pendulum swings all the way back. If you have a single company that owns all the licenses and can only produce that product, well, they may find themselves in other legal scenarios. So we'll see. We'll continue to keep an eye on that, certainly for personal and professional reasons. Greeny, PSA revealed to Collectibles on SI that they have prevented over 200 million in fake cards. Presumably through their process, they have a checks and balances. You revealed last week, you've been doing this for decades. You are one of the foremost experts in the industry, and even you got burned on a card that was a pretty darn good fake, a Fugazi as it were. What can Joe Public do if PSA and the grading companies are the last bastion of protection for the consumers? What can individuals do? What can they look out for?
Yeah.
How can you spot a fake? Generally
Tough.
speaking, what can people look out for?
Tough. I mean, that's a really tough thing, because like the card that I had, the card was real. It was the patches that were not. So the card was still real, and that happens a lot with grading card companies, because they grade the card. They're not authenticating the actual patch that's on that card. So, and I know that a lot of people say, well, they should be, and maybe they should. I don't know exactly what the right scenario is there. Are they the last line of defense? I don't know. That's tough, because people that make fake things, I mean, they do a good job, right? You have to touch the paper, you have to feel it, you got to look at it. If it's for sale at a price that's ridiculously cheap, odds are, you've heard it, if it's too good to be true, it probably is, right? If you have doubts, ask, take pictures, send them to people, and even those aren't foolproof either, because without being able to touch the card and actually, feel the grain, the paper, there's people that, on the vintage cards, they smell them. And there are different ways to tell. Fakes are always going to happen. They're always going to make it through. And I tell you what's more I don't know if scared's the right word or more. I'll think of the right word that I don't care for is the custom cards. And I'm not talking about the custom cards that we make because ours are through a contract with the student athletes or the schools that we make. But people that are making these custom downtowns and kabooms and they're, taking a picture of, I think, Santa Claus and making a downtown or Beirut. There's somebody that's never had one of those cards. And that is really something to look forward, that are kind of fooling people that don't really know or people that are new to the hobby. I know people that make custom relic cards. They go to, Dick's Sporting Goods and they buy a jersey off the shelf and they make a custom card of, a player, a Mickey Mantle jersey card, something. So those are the things that are a little bit more concerning than, just a fake Michael Jordan is still concerning, but it's all the new custom cards. And that's what's scary.
You've got famously on your wall in the worldwide headquarters of Greeny, you've got a wall of fakes. So what is there a common theme or what kind of cards are showing up on your wall there?
The ones that I have are the iconic cards that have been recreated, right? Wayne Gretzky rookies, Jordan rookies. I have a fake Mickey Mantle, Charles Barkley. So yeah, things like that. I don't know that I've bought a custom card like by mistake. I've bought one because I thought it was cool and it sits on the shelf, but never for resale.
Good stuff. Who is not fake and will take care of you is our friends over at Sport Card Auctions. Dave and his team, they will treat you right if you're looking to turn your sports card collection into serious cash. At Sport Card Auctions, they make it simple. They've got professional services, professional auction services. You just ship your cards to them. They'll handle everything for you. They'll take the photography, they'll list it, they'll ship it. They've got over 15 years experience at this point, and they'll take care of your vintage cards, your modern hits. You can maximize your return with competitive consignment rates and professional services at Sport Card Auctions. So get started consigning today at sportcardauctions.com, where your cards get the spotlight they deserve. And as I've said before, all I need to know about Sport Card Auctions is that Greeny, you use them yourself. So that tells me all I need to know about credibility of that.
You do. And if I am smart enough how to do this, I'm going to show you in real time my auctions that are currently up. Can we see those? Can you see that? No, where? Active items right here. Are we seeing them? No?
Yep. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So those are my active items. I don't know how to scroll because I can't figure it out. So I do have active items with sportcardauctions.com that end in a day. And, I got everything $4. Here's a 1980 Topps Ricky Henderson PSA 8. It's at $237. I still have stuff that are lower in the $10, $12, $20 range. But I know as the time goes, here's a Michael Jordan. It's at $338.33. So this is how it is. It's you get right on their website and they have all of your cards in your port and you can watch them in real time and, follow along. That's how simple it is.
Greeny, on the flip side of that, if you're a consumer and you want cards, how easy is it to sort and look for cards and
yeah, well, you go right on Dave's site and you can click what he has up for sale at sportcardauctions.com on eBay. You can browse. They have hundreds of cards that end every single night. So you can just browse through their website. It takes you right to their eBay page and bid accordingly on what you want.
Very cool. So question in from our audience says, we do encourage you to participate as well. Will Freebie ever pivot to Pokemon cards, which are gaining huge traction after being promoted by Jake and Logan Paul?
I don't know what Freebie means. Is that Greeny? Will I pivot to Pokemon cards? I mean, we run Pokemon shows. I've bought Pokemon cards. I should learn a lot more about them, if that's kind of the question, because it is a huge part of the industry right now. And Adam and I joke all the time. You know, we have our TCG shows, and not losing money, but we're losing money by not buying buying more Pokemon cards there. So yeah, at one point I will sit down and I will actually learn more about them.
Yeah, I mean, you had a sense enough. We talked about this last week. Greeny Sports Cards, ironically, Sports Cards was the first producer in Northeast Ohio to take the risk a few years back and do an all TCG, all Pokemon show. And I recall you being pretty nervous about that, wondering if the market would even sustain that. And 100 tables later, Broadview Heights continues to actually outgrow and outpace that venue in Broadview Heights.
Yeah, and even so, our other shows, you know, Great Northern Mall and the Medina County Collectors Fair are predominantly TCG shows, and we tell people that. I mean, sure, we have sports and other things there, comics and 3D printing, but those are all encompassing shows, but they are leaning more towards the TCG. You know, we have some of the other shows that are way more sports, but those shows are really more of TCG, and you know, that's fine. I mean, that's what customers want, so we're happy to provide it.
Switching gears a little bit from TCG, GZDR Forever also wants to know if you've seen an uptick or decline in Caitlin card requests. As give us a pulse of the WNBA scape.
Yeah, so they just started, right? But I think Caitlin Clark cards were a great buy in the WNBA off season. And I mean, I personally have bought some. I know that people, they still ask, of course. She drives the WNBA. Paige Becker's cards. And I tell you what, Sonia Citron has come out shooting the lights out. She had 22 points, I think, in the first game. You know, so if you know anything about our NIL cards, we created Sonia's first card. So that's really cool. But yeah, WNBA is still very popular right now.
Good stuff. So yeah, if you've got a question as well, drop that in the comment section of whatever platform you are consuming this show. We encourage you to do so.
By the way, let's talk about the NIL cards real quick, and maybe we can actually bring them up on our page. Maybe Haley can bring them up while we're doing this, or Jeremy. Like we had another player from Houston make the NFL this year, and Carlos Allen. I think he's on the Atlanta Falcons. So we got a couple WNBA players. We got some NFL players. So it's kind of cool to see the trajectory of some of these NIL student athletes. You know, we have some baseball players last year from the Washington Huskies that, you know, could end up, you know, because in the minor leagues, you know, never know if they make the major leagues. But yeah, I mean, it's terrific. I know that, you know, Sara Guerrero is playing overseas, a former Cleveland State player. So we have professionals in different sports in different countries. You know, they don't have to be in the NBA, WNBA, but yeah, there we go, right there. Carlos Allen, right? He is, I think he got drafted by the Atlanta Falcons. And we made a card of him last year. So pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. So
Haley, go ahead and pull that one off, please. I'm going to show you, there's Sonia's card that you had mentioned. So the first ever Sonia Citron card, who is now playing in the WNBA.
Yeah. And if it weren't for Paige Becker's last year, she would have been the Rookie of the Year. I mean, she had a terrific year. So very cool. And I mean, Maddie Westbeld's in the WNBA. Soon, knock on, you know, Hannah Hidalgo will be in the WNBA. So we'll have created some cool cards of people that have went on to play professional sports.
let's see, from I believe Indiana. You had former Kent State player as well. That was a Great Lakes collector's card, but
Yeah.
yeah, head over to
Harris.
greeniecards.com. You can actually get to it from either site, greeniesportscards.com or directly greeniecards.com. All kinds of custom NIL cards. And by the way, if shameless plug here, if you are a student athlete or a university that would like custom cards, reach out to Greenie and see if you can get any school, any team, any player. You'll do, right, Greenie?
We will work with anybody that wants to work and help promote themselves as well. It's a lot about the student athletes promoting themselves and their name, their brand, their likeness, and able to make a couple dollars while doing so.
Very good. We anticipated Joe Wismirski, our commissioner of chaos, our resident hobby insider, joining us this evening, but he is dealing with sunspots or internet issues or something. That's what happens when you do a live show. But we'll check in with Joe if he can get to us this show. If not, we'll see him again next week. And in the meantime, Greenie, let's go around the country for Card Show Live.
Hey, welcome on into this edition of Card Show Live, where we're going to take you around the country to some of the hottest shows that we're looking forward to hearing about. Our first stop is in Texas, Allen, Texas, to be exact, for the Dallas Card Show, which we talk about quite a bit when this show comes up, because it is a juggernaut. 700 plus tables, May 14th through the 17th. That is in Allen, Texas. We know that a lot of people go there. Huge trade night. And some people actually say it's a trade night with a card show. That's kind of one of the jokes but their trade night goes all night long. A lot of people talk about it. A lot of people fly into that show. I know big deals happen all the time. You can see some of the sponsors that they have there, Golden, Alt, Leaf, and Beckett. Leaf and Beckett happen to be in that area. So terrific for them. The Dallas Card Show in Allen, Texas, this weekend, May 14th through the 17th. From there, we're going to head to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where Mainline Autographs has what was the old Robert Morris College show. It is now at the Monroeville Convention Center. Reason being, if you've ever been to the old Robert Morris show, which was great at the college, right on the basketball floor, they had the bleachers that were able to push back. And a few years ago, they renovated the gym there, and the bleachers now stand where they are, and you can't move them back. So they needed to look for a bigger place, and the Monroeville Convention Center is where it is now. I know that they have hundreds of tables at this show. They have a great autograph lineup too, because Mainline Autographs is what they do. So this is the Pittsburgh Spring Spectacular this weekend, May 15th through the 17th, the Monroeville Convention Center near Pittsburgh, a little bit outside the city. So check that out if you're in that area. And then there's the Baltimore Card Show this weekend at the UMBC Chesapeake Employers Insurance Arena, 300 tables. The National was in Baltimore probably 2011, maybe 10, somewhere around there. I had a great time when it was in Baltimore. And Inner Harbor is terrific. A lot of good restaurants there. Believe this show, you have 300 tables as well. The Baltimore Card Show by Fire Sports Cards. So it looks like Alfred Morris, former Washington Redskin, is going to be signing autographs there too. So if you're in that area, check out the Baltimore Card Show. Then another show back towards the middle part of the country in Grace Lake, Illinois, is the Mint X Midwest Card Expo, May 16th and 17th, and that is at the Lake County Fairgrounds. The Mint X Midwest Card Expo, 500 tables that they're talking about that's going to be at this show. So if you're anywhere near the middle of the country, this could be the show for you in Grace Lake, the Mint X Midwest Card Expo, 500 tables. And then to round out our weekend of card shows is the Mountain State Collectors Convention. which is in Charleston, West Virginia. And this is our second time here with the Mountain State Collectors Convention. First year, we had a little over 100 tables for our first time. I think it was 137. We're up to 200 tables this year. And what a terrific venue. If you've never been to Charleston, this is a place that not because it's just our show, but it's a great city. The downtown area was terrific. The venue, the Charleston Convention Center is going in and out of. There's a parking garage right across the street. It's not expensive to stay there in the town. It's not expensive for parking. The Go-Mart ballpark is right down the street from the venue. So many things to do there. So like I said, 200 tables, predominantly sports cards, but there is a nice TCG Pokemon presence. We also have, I think we're up to 8 comic book tables. So should be pretty interesting. Everything that you can want, from sports cards, TCG, One Piece to comic books. This weekend, May 15th through the 17th, the Mountain State Collectors Convention in Charleston, West Virginia. And that is this week's edition of Card Show Live.
Great stuff, Greeny. As I said,
if you were counting along, those shows combined for 2,000 tables. Those 5 shows, 2,000 tables.
Yeah, that's what I was going to comment on. It's well over 2,000 tables just with 5 shows around the country. And again, no sign of slowing down. I'm really looking forward to getting back there this weekend. I was extremely pleasantly surprised with the city of Charleston. I knew going in, the Convention and Visitors Bureau was top notch, extremely accommodating. The venue is new and has been rebuilt recently. We kind of expected all that, but the reception by everybody there was really awesome. And so we're going to talk about the show. It's in a little bit of expanded detail here, give everybody a perspective on location wise. Charleston, West Virginia, it's accessible from multiple points within a 4-5 hour drive. You'll kind of zoom in here. The convention center sits right on the river. As you said, Greeny, plenty of parking, plenty of accessibility. The Coliseum gets top-notch for acts as well. I believe Gary Allen is playing one of the nights there, and there's some other country acts that are performing in town. And so proximity to the hotels, you've got the Marriott, you've got the Embassy Suites. There's a couple other hotels in this block. The historic district was really surprising, nice. Plenty of restaurants, entertainment activities not far from here. So, and then you're going to pop over to the ballpark where it's a lot of fun. It's minor league baseball. You've got the mayor of the town throwing toast in the stands at, I believe when there's strikeouts, randomly there's toast, which took us by surprise last year, but pretty entertaining nonetheless. So minor league baseball, historic downtown district, lots of entertaining activities to do. And then we'll give everybody a sense of the floor itself. When you get into the building, really accessible here. So you'll come in the venue, check in, you get your tickets in advance if you'd like at greenysportscards.com. Of course, those are on sale now. You can buy VIP packages. You'll enter the show, and then you've got well over 200 tables. Our thanks to all these participants in green in particular that have sponsored the show in some form or fashion and supported it. We talked to Andy Friedman last week, iconic Topps artist. He'll be there showcasing his artwork. You've got GA grading services. You've got vintage cards. You've got modern cards. And then in the back here, you've got the Big Play broadcast stage with content all weekend. So plenty of tables, plenty of activities. Let's talk a little bit of Greeny. Before we get into the guests, I want to talk about the Big Play broadcast stage, but in particular, let's talk about show hours, show times, and let everybody know what happens Friday, Saturday, Sunday from a accessibility standpoint.
Yeah, VIP starts at noon on Friday for a couple hours. You know, we want the VIP package to be able to to be affordable, right? So we made it so that you can get in a couple hours early on that day. It's also early on Saturday as well. But the show's going to go till 7 o'clock at night. We'll have some stuff on the broadcast stage that we can talk about a little bit that's going to happen every day. But then on Saturday, we're going to have the show again is going to go till 5 o'clock. And then after the show, if you purchase a ticket to the Charleston Dirty Birds, we're going to go over there. We're going to watch some baseball, maybe get some toast thrown around. But it's a fun ballpark to watch a game. So you're going to need a ticket if you want to come to the game. And I believe, well, we have the link on the site. If you scroll down, you can actually click on the Dirty Birds logo and purchase a ticket there. I believe it's like $10 is like their most expensive ticket. If you click on the Dirty Birds, and then Sunday the show will go till 4 o'clock, but normal show hours. And we wanted to have things for people to do at night. So going to the baseball game or exploring the city, and there's plenty of time for cards at the show, but we want people to actually go and see and experience this city. I mean, I know you and Noah really wanted to throw microwaves against the ground last year, and the show was a little bit longer, and we didn't get a chance to do some of these things. There was
they have a rage room, room at one of the bars.
Right. So, I mean, it was really cool. I know that, some of the guys went out to different restaurants and told us how good of a time they had. And, we really want people to explore the city, enjoy it. The hotels are great. The restaurants are good. I actually have already looked up to see, where we can go, Friday, and we'll be there Thursday. So try some places new that we haven't been to in that city.
Yeah, like I said, the city continues to pleasantly surprise. So encourage, if you're anywhere within driving distance, even flying distance, it's a pretty accessible. I think it's 5 miles to the airport, but
Right.
if you're within a couple hours drive of Charleston, come down this weekend. There's hotel rooms available. Marriott is the host hotel there, and the city's walkable. All those things you mentioned after the show, being able to walk to the historic district, walk to the ballpark. It's going to be a really good time this weekend. So, Greeny, the Big Play broadcast stage will have content all weekend. And let's talk about, starting with Friday, what's going to take place there Friday afternoon.
Yeah, so 3 to 5 p.m., the Jock is going to be broadcasting live from 3 to 5 o'clock. So that's really exciting for us. I know Anthony Lewis is going to jump on there with Chris, who hosts the show in the afternoon there. He's going to have John Pennington, no relation to Chad, I know people have asked, but John Pennington, the West Virginia State head coach, who also wrote a book. And actually, I was on the morning show this morning, and I was told it is now Dr. John Pennington. So he's gonna be there on the media stage talking a little bit about the program there, West Virginia State, and then sign his new book in the afternoon. So that's a plan for Friday. There's a potential of another guest or two that could join the stage on Friday. So we'll announce that when we're ready for Friday. So that is exciting to have a live broadcast that'll be on the radio 3 to 5 p.m. on Friday,
while the card show is taking place. And then on Saturday, a couple of the biggest names in West Virginia football history will be joining us. Talk about at 11 o'clock who will be jumping on the stage with Anthony Lewis.
Yeah, that would be Avon Coburn. He is the all-time leading rusher at West Virginia. He was at the show last year, and he is nothing short of terrific. I mean, what great stories this guy has. And I have found actually a couple cards that I want to bring. I have a jersey card of Avon that I'd like to sign that can hang on our wall. But, he had a little taste of the NFL, but still to be the leading rusher at a school like that. And I believe he played in the early 2000s, if I'm correct. So to still, 20 some years later, to be the all-time leading rusher at a major college football program is pretty interesting. So he'll be on the stage again with Anthony Lewis from the Touchdown City show. they'll probably record a little bit of their podcast and do some questions and answers, WVU style with people in the gallery.
We had a chance to talk to Avon a little bit last year. His resume is astounding. I mean, the records he continues to hold this day. He had 4 1,000-yard plus rushing seasons at West Virginia, and quite possibly going back to the NIL conversation. Those are records that may stand the test of time. If you've got a 4-year back at a university that was that prolific, the odds of somebody staying that long and breaking those records these days is going to be hard pressed to do. So looking forward to Avon Coburn, West Virginia legend, coming out at 11 o'clock on Saturday. And then a little bit later that day at 11, there's a major guest coming. Who will be there throughout the afternoon?
That would be Major Harris, former West Virginia quarterback, who was a 2-time Heisman finalist. Really, I remember watching him play college football, and he was a little bit before his time, right before the Michael Vicks of the world. I think he was in the late 80s, Major Harris, maybe right around to 1990. But man, that dual threat, he put up some big games, big numbers at a school there. And again, to be a Heisman finalist and a quarterback from West Virginia. And then to play in the Arena League, he played here with the Cleveland Thunderbolts. And I remember him playing. I remember going to the games. I know that your dad did the games. I know Howie Chiswick was the PA announcer. And I remember Major Harris being the quarterback of the Thunderbolts.
As do I. Very, very fond days of the Arena League at the Coliseum, the Richfield Coliseum, here in Cleveland. So, and speaking of West Coast, just flashback to arena football in Phoenix was phenomenal too. I remember the stadium being sold out, 20,000 people going to those games. So it's still pretty big around the country. And point of emphasis there, Greeny, Major Harris autograph will be free, as well as Avon. All the guests appearing at your show, I believe, are free. Yeah, and we're really happy that the Alumni Hall, which is kind of a chain, but they have an outfit for West Virginia. They have a couple schools around the country, Alumni Hall, that they have like stores near campuses, but the Alumni Hall West Virginia store is going to be there, and they're bringing in Major Harris, and he'll be at their table. They'll have some merch, like some helmets and stuff, if you want to purchase a West Virginia helmet and get it signed. I mean, you can bring your own item as well, but yeah, one item per person, and that is with courtesy of Alumni Hall, and the Touchdown City show helped make that happen. And then there's still content in flux on the Big Play broadcast stage. There will be other guests that will be featured, influencers appearing. I know Ryan Curtis will be on hand. I Saw Sasquatch. We'll be able to have other content running throughout the weekend for we have hobby talk and breaks, and then Andy Friedman, who we got to talk to last week, will be on site as well. So make sure you stop by his booth, check out the artwork, and throw him up there as well. Andy will be on site at the show, but then he is performing at Mountain Stage in Charleston, coincidentally passing through town, and it worked out. As he said last week, he gets to do sports cards and music, his two passions. It will culminate in Charleston, West Virginia this weekend. Yeah, pretty cool stuff, man. To have somebody like that, we can see all of his artwork that he created. He's had over 600 cards, he said, with Topps. So cool having Andy there. Really fun to have Avon Coburn and Major Harris and Coach Pennington will be there. And there's a possibility of some other guests that we're working on. And, if they're last minute, it'd still be fun to talk to them on the stage and even walking around the show and, to say hi to some of these guys that you watched play. Yeah, very cool, Greeny. Really looking forward to the weekend. The city's accessible. The event it'll have 200 tables worth of really cool stuff. And again, touched on it earlier. This is the season for buying cards leading up on the road to the National. So if you're anywhere in that area and you're looking to sell your cards, um, come on out to the show as well. There will be plenty of buying going on.
Yeah, there are. And we could probably even show you a little glimpse of last year, right? It's kind of what people can expect to see.
Yeah, Haley, let's go ahead and show that sizzle reel from last year.
Yeah, lot of fun at that one. And for the first year, like I said, we had 137 tables. We're up to 200 this year. 1,500 plus people showed up last year, which for the first year, I mean, we were ecstatic. We look to build on that this year. I know that a lot of the vendors had a really good time at the show last year. And we actually have a video of that too that we can show you.
E3 here at the Mountain State Collector Convention. It's been a good show, a lot of traffic. We sold quite a bit of stuff. I'm excited for Steve to do this next year, and we'll definitely be back.
We're here at the Mountain State Collectors Convention, Greeny's first one, and it's been awesome. Kudos to Greeny for tapping a totally unknown market for Pokemon. The turnout has been awesome, and we're really pleased with the amount of traffic we've had in. We can't wait to come back.
I live 7 hours away from here. I live in Maryland, and it was well worth the trip coming up here. I enjoyed it. Great scenery, great atmosphere. Everybody around here is super friendly.
A lot of people that have come to the show have said, oh, this is the first show I've ever been to, or this is the biggest show I've ever been to. If they keep doing it, I'd be more than welcome to come back.
It's been awesome. It's the first time that they've done a show here, a big show, in over 10 years. So we really didn't know what to bring, so we held back on a few things, but we brought everything else. Sure. But it's been amazing. It's refreshing to come, I'd say 8 hours away, to meet different people, to experience different things, and really just, I guess, bond with a community that I'm not familiar with, which is always what I look for.
You know, Jude's point was really one of the reasons that we picked Charleston. It's a place that a lot of people haven't been to before, that is a decent sized market that deserved a card show. You know, they have a major school, West Virginia. I know it's 2 hours away, but Marshall University is close there too. And those colleges are their professional teams, you know, in West Virginia. And they have a huge collector base, and you know, it turned out way better than we expected last year.
Yeah, you don't have to just take our word for it. You got the testimonials right there. I think, again, it just pleasantly surprised and continued to pleasantly surprise. And now the show at 30% of the size it was last year is going to be bigger. More people know about it. And the city and the media continue to embrace it there. So it's going to be a great weekend in Charleston, West Virginia. So, Greeny, we essentially made it. We filled an hour through Joe's technical difficulties getting on board today, through lots of news to get to. So just want to continue to remind everybody, check out greenysportscards.com for all of the upcoming shows. There's no slowing down. You got Medina after that, and then shows continuing in Broadview Heights And in the coming weeks, Greeny, there are going to be some really big announcements, and we can't wait to unveil what's coming and what we anticipate will be some really big things, not only for Greeny Sports Cards, but for the hobby itself. So stay tuned. More to come on that. In the meantime, check out greenysportscards.com for all the event details, for the upcoming schedules. Check out greenycards.com for the NIL cards. And again, if you are a student athlete or you are involved in a university or a team, get a hold of Greeny and the custom card division there for your very own set of cards that are really first class endeavor. So, Greeny, any other closing thoughts here before we button up the hour?
Yeah, the one video that started off was Garrett from GA Grading, and people have asked, is there going to be grading at this show? And typically, no, the answer is no, there's not grading at the show, but we do have one of the largest bulk submitters in the country that's going to be there that will submit cards on your behalf to PSA, Beckett, and like. So GA Grading will be there. There will be vintage cards there. People have asked, is it just modern? No, we have several vintage vendors. So there are vintage sports cards. There's definitely a good amount of Pokemon vendors that'll be there. And as well as something new for us here is some comic book vendors. So like I said, a little bit of everything, 200 tables. And man, we look forward to it. So again, this weekend, May 15th through the 17th in Charleston, West Virginia, the Mountain State Collectors Convention. Listen, Jeremy, we'd be remiss if we didn't thank the Charleston Convention and Visitors Bureau, who's really been a great partner to help us put this show on. So we thank them. We thank the Charleston Coliseum and Convention Center, who has been nothing short of spectacular in helping put this show on as well. They've taken every attention to detail with the tables, the chairs, and everything, and the sound system and building the stage for us. So we thank them. Without them, this show really couldn't happen. So the CVB, the Convention and Visitors Bureau, and then the Charleston Coliseum and Convention Center, two terrific partners that really helped make this show what it is.
Absolutely. And then the Charleston community itself, very supportive of the event. The Dirty Birds, we're going to go to the ball game on Saturday night. So again, check out all the information at Greeny Sports Cards. You can buy your tickets directly there. Recommend that in advance. Skip the line, save a little bit of money, and then you'll be set. Greeny, about a minute here. Any quick advice for somebody going to, whether it's this show or any shows across the country? What should somebody do heading into these monster shows that have hundreds and hundreds of tables?
Yeah, that'll be a whole hour show before the National, but really collect what you like. I mean, go there with kind of an idea of some of the things that you want, kind of gather some information and know what the prices could be on some of the cards and what you're willing to spend. And really, just shop around, have a good time, interact with the vendors, ask questions, and, don't be afraid to ask questions. If they have a certain card, what do they think about this card? Your thoughts on this card's future. So, just come and have a good time.
Terrific stuff. As always, a pleasure to be with you every Tuesday night. And as always, our thanks to Haley on the board. Thanks to all of you for tuning in and joining us every week. Greeny, may the cards forever be in your favor.
Can't wait to see everybody this weekend and card shows throughout the rest of the year. And we will see you next Tuesday.